So we'll see what happens. All right, here we go. Preparing to live stream the meeting. Okay.
Oh, this is gonna be cool. I'm gonna see it on
Oh,
my screen what I look
you
like.
gonna get hooked. You gonna get hooked. Oh, I think we live. I think we live.
Yep, it's loading. Oh,
Ooh, that's a delay. There's a huge delay right there.
started streaming less than 1 minute ago.
I think I gotta turn this. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right. Cool. So, um, all right. Well, this is Chess Holmes, everybody, and we're welcoming Brianna and me because this is my first time too. I don't think this is supposed to be looking like this. I don't know if maybe we're not supposed to be sharing the screen because like everybody can see all of my stuff.
Does it give you the option not to share your screen?
I can take the share screen off. Yep.
Yeah, go ahead and try it that way, and then we'll just actually
Just right.
stay on me and you on Zoom and just go off of that.
Okay.
But just make sure, I guess, that it's broadcasting from there.
Got it. This is definitely a delete video right here. Share computer. Let me see. How do I turn the share screen off now? Nope. Share. Stop share. Stop share. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let's see if that works. Um, Now it looks like the YouTube feed is behind what we're doing. So even though I stop share, it's still
Up.
there. It's probably gonna change though. There we go.
It's really slow, huh?
It's way behind. It's a lag. It's like probably a 5 second lag.
I hate that.
That is it's way behind. Um, all right. So E Vapors. Oh, E is here. Okay. Hold on. Let's my buddy E is here. I don't know if you can see it though. You can't can you see?
I can't. It does show me up in my left hand corner. It does say that it's live on YouTube though.
Okay.
So, but it's not. It's
Okay.
probably not going to show me all your stuff though.
Okay, all right. So let me type in a message to E. E Vapors is a guy that I follow on YouTube. I've been following him for like the last month or so. Super cool guy. You know him? You ever seen his channel?
Mm-mm.
E Vapors, EVAPORS is the channel, and he's got a super dope channel. So let me. He's got an IA. So that's one of the main things he's talking about on his channel. Um, he's not a real estate investor, although I'm trying to convince him to be one.
Yes.
So I see y'all both. Okay, he just typed in what's up the first time. I'm typing him a message. First time streaming live for both me and Brianna.
I wonder.
Okay. All right. So Brianna, we are live, and he laughing. Okay, good deal. So again, the stream is a little bit behind, so we got to get used to that. Because like when I look at you on my left monitor over here, I physically see you shaking your head. When I look over here, you
It's
just look
slow.
at your phone.
Oh
So it's
no.
crazy. It is crazy. It's probably like a 10, 15 second lag at least.
We're gonna have to just ignore that side.
Right.
Ignore that
Okay.
side.
Okay. But I gotta look at that side though, because when people come in and they're making comments,
Yeah, that's
I'm gonna
right.
have to be able to respond to them, right?
Yes.
So we're gonna call this guy. We might not even get into a lot of real estate today because we just trying to learn the platform.
Yeah, right. We're gonna make this a how-to video.
A how-to, yeah, exactly. We're gonna turn this into a how-to video because this is supposed to be. Let me see. He said, "Yeah, live streaming is always about 15 seconds." Okay, so he said, "Yeah, it's always about 15 seconds behind."
All right.
Yeah, good deal. All right, well, E, since you're the only one here today, and you know me, I'm Hudson on bass. I'm a professional bass player, but that's my former life, so I don't play as much as I used to play anymore. And now, because of Corona, I don't play at all. Like,
Yep.
right? But I've been a professional bass player, playing bass, doing all this kind of stuff for years. I played with a lot of major artists who we'll talk about in other videos. But what I'm doing now is real estate investing and entrepreneurship. Okay, and so
Yeah.
guys, just to let all of you YouTube people know, I met Brianna on Instagram, right? And
Yeah.
I found her page and just started following all of her wholesale deals. Noticed she's a real estate investor, things like that. And I just started shooting out messages. I didn't know if she was gonna curse me out. I didn't know if she was gonna be like, "Look, stop stalking me," whatever the case may be. But I was very interested in the stuff that she was doing on Instagram, and I wanted to, kind of pick her brain about things. So we've been talking for the last few weeks about real estate stuff, and oh, she taught me how to do Instagram. Actually, I can't forget that. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, she definitely taught me some stuff about Instagram, and I'm learning. So, but what I wanted to get into was Brianna's professional career in real estate, and just ask some questions. And it looks like I'm gonna have to type in because you said you can't see the YouTube stream, right?
Nope.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna have to just relay the messages. I know I usually monitor comments via phone. Oh, okay. He monitors the comments via phone. All right. Miss Pamela's here. Hello, Miss Pamela. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you for joining our live stream today. I'm introducing Brianna McCourt. Am I saying it right?
Yes.
Okay. And so again, I'm just going to dive right in and ask Brianna some questions about real estate. Keep it very minor, real basic. We'll do some advanced stuff later on. But
Yep.
what made you want to get into real estate in the first place? Like, what was that spark that made you want to get in real estate?
You know what? I've always wanted to own my own business some way, somehow, but I actually became interested in real estate clear back in 2011. Actually, it was 2010 when I was actually still in high school. The school that I went to, we partnered up with another program where we were like rehabbing basically abandoned houses for low income families, and it counted towards our credits to graduate. Like we needed to do it, we had to put the time in. So it all started from there. We rehabbed houses, and I noticed how much I had an interest in like interior design and just real estate, period. So it all started back in 2010.
Y'all were doing like real houses in high school?
Yes, yes,
Wow,
yes.
that's
We had 1 week academic, and then the next week would be construction week. And the whole week from what we started like 8:30 until like 2 o'clock, we worked on these houses all day, Monday through Friday.
That's an awesome program. I don't even
Yeah,
know if
it
we
is.
have anything like that here in Georgia. That's pretty good. Pretty good.
Youth Build Charter School. They should be down there because I believe they're like in every state. Youth Build Charter School.
You said what is it called again?
Youth Build Charter School.
Youth Build Charter. I'm just typing that in the chat.
Yeah. And, because they did run off of, funding and things like that, I don't know if they're still doing it now. I would hope they are. I do still follow them on Instagram, and I still stay connected with teachers and things like that. So I know that they're still like doing academic wise, but the construction, I don't know if they're still doing that, but I was blessed enough to be a part of that era.
That program, right? So
Yes.
was that's the program that kind of initiated the spark and wanting you to get into real estate? Did you
Oh, yeah.
wait a while after you finished high school to get into real estate?
Oh yeah, a long
So
time.
I finished high school, I'm going straight for my real estate license.
Yeah, I wanted to do that, but circumstances and situations, just years passed, and I just dabbled in working for other people, doing other jobs. I mean, I worked for the post office for 3 years, did a lot in the trucking industry. I didn't touch real estate. I didn't touch anything like that until 2000, yeah, like until 2018, the beginning of 2018. It was a gap there.
Okay. So I'm assuming you just took that time to do personal stuff, kind of figure out what direction you wanted to go in and all that.
Oh yeah.
Good deal.
I was in school to be a pharmacist. So Yeah.
So
So I was
medicine.
in school. I was going to school and I went for about a year and a half.
Okay.
And I knew when I was going for pharmacy, I just knew I was like, this is not really my passion. This is not really what I want to do.
Okay.
When I
Okay.
moved to Las Vegas, I said that I was going to get my license. I
Right.
was either going to go the traditional route or I really wanted to invest. And I was like, I'm here, I'm in Las Vegas, I'm going to school.
Okay.
So I need to just do it. So then the switch, when I was in school for pharmacy, the switch turned and I was like, no, I need to go do what really is going to make
What
me
you really
happy.
wanted to do. Okay.
Yep,
Which was the real estate stuff. And
yep,
you had already had the bug from high school.
yep,
Sweet. Okay. All
yep.
right. So starting off getting the real estate license, what was that process like? Like, first of all, I know I started to get my real estate license, but I started watching people like Grant Cardone. Not sure if you're familiar with Grant. But well, yeah, I'm gonna hip you to Grant. He's off the chain. But Grant Cardone, and there's other people. Max Maxwell, he's a great wholesaler. You know Max.
Yep, yep,
And Max doesn't have his real estate license. Grant didn't either. So I started noticing as I was investing in real estate that I didn't have to have a license to do it. The only reason I needed a license was to get into the properties.
mm-hmm.
And so for that reason, I never did go and get the license. And I still don't think I'm going to be the type of person to go get licensed. I
You
just want to be
don't.
the investor. But
Yep,
how did you choose, like, even who to go get your license from? Because that's a process.
it is. So I basically just did like a simple Google search and I looked over all the schools and what I needed something that was going to be convenient for me because I necessarily didn't want to have to go in class because I have kids.
Right. Okay.
I'm like a stay-at-home mom and I work from home and do whatever I gotta do. So I'm
Right.
like, you know
Okay.
what, I need some place that is gonna allow me to do my study online and then if I gotta go in and take the test, it's fine. So that's basically how I picked the school to go get my real estate license and they had a really good rating too. I was looking at that as well. So
Okay. So you looked at the rating. That was important to you.
oh yeah.
The
Oh
rating.
yeah,
Okay.
because you want to have the good teachers.
Okay.
You want to know that they've been in the real estate game strong
Right. Right.
and for a hot minute so you know they really know their stuff if you got a ton of questions or later on because I still have their numbers. I still connect with them now and talk
Okay.
to them and ask them questions if I need something. So that was important.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah,
So having strong teachers, um, kind of people that understand or really understand what they're doing rather than just taking a course. So
exactly.
once you selected the school you want to go to, it was online. You said, right?
Yeah, it wasn't, you had the option to go in. You
Okay.
could either do it online or in class. And sometimes I did go in when I had the time. Like if my kids were with family or something, sometimes I would go in person instead of staying home that day and studying on my laptop. So I went back and forth.
So was there different costs with actual physical classes going in versus doing it online?
Nope, and that's another reason why I like that school too. It was just a solid price.
There you go. There you
Yep.
go. Okay, because I've seen some places that, like you said, if you go in, it's a certain amount, or if you just do it online, it's a certain amount. Books
Yes.
and supplies and materials is
Yeah.
a whole nother fee.
All of that was included.
All that's included. So what was the price? Do you remember what that price was?
I paid $395.
That sounds right. Yeah,
Three
that's
ninety
about
five for
yeah.
everything.
That sounds like market rate. That sounds like
Yep.
market rate. And then sometimes you can catch people that are giving deals. And that 395 can be 375, 365 if you hurry up and do it this week and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. All right.
yeah.
So what was the course like when you started it, when you first started doing the real estate course?
So basically, they had like four sections because when you go and you take your real estate, you have national side and then you have state side. So there was two sections for state and two sections for national side. And basically, the school just kind of had it like on a weekly rotation schedule. Like the teacher would have one section that they were going over this week, and then
Mm-hmm.
the next week would probably be the second session. I mean, the second part to like the national side, then it will switch over to state. So it was just a weekly rotation of each section. So basically, yeah, they just broke it down to like 4 weeks. And the thing too,
So the whole school was 4 weeks, was total 4 weeks?
it was supposed to be 4 weeks, but if you went and if you tested and if you failed, you could go back. You can go as long as you needed to.
Really? For the same
Yes,
399, 395? That's
yes,
crazy. What?
yes,
They don't charge
yes.
you again for failing? Because you know in
Oh,
college, if you fail that subject, you gotta go,
yeah, you
you
got to
gotta
pay for
pay
that
for
class
it again.
again. You're exactly right. So, but this is the catch though. No, you didn't have to pay to go keep going back to the school, but you have to pay for your real estate exam. You have to pay
Right.
for the state and the national side. So if you keep failing, which I did,
Did you fail the first one?
I failed several times.
What?
Yes,
What?
yes. And that's just, I'm just being real, because when you don't have a routine of studying and being consistent with something, that's the
Mhm.
result. That's what happens. And that's the truth. That's what it was for me. So,
Okay. And that was because of not being able to study in a routine pattern.
yes, everything was crazy with my kids,
With kids,
home.
yeah, home
Yes,
life. Right.
it was a hot mess. I'm not gonna lie.
So, in other words, what I'm hearing is once you decide to take on that task of real estate license, whatever, if it's insurance, whatever it is, you got to be able to be committed to it.
Yep.
Yeah, you got that's
Oh
absolutely
yeah.
right. I
Oh
agree.
yeah. Or you're gonna waste a lot of money and time. So you learn from your mistakes, and you don't want to do that. When it finally clicked, when I said, okay, I'm tired of swiping my card and paying X amount of money
Right.
every time to retake this test. I'm done now. It's time to buckle down,
Buckle
get
down.
real, get serious, and
Yeah.
do it. And then I passed. It ended up
And
happening. I
look,
was
it's different from when you're spending your money versus mom and dad spending their money. So when you swiping your
100,
own card, it get real.
100% right. Yes.
Good deal. Good deal. Okay. So how long was that class? I don't know if you had mentioned it, but how long did it actually take you to finish that class? Let's say you went in, you did everything, you passed the test the first time. How long did it actually take you to get that hour? I know there's a certain amount of hours you have to have to get the license.
I cannot remember I want to say that it was 30 hours is for continuing education. I want to say the initial, I don't think it was that long. I want to say you had to have at least like, for some
75?
reason, I'm thinking like 15 or 16, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
It might be, I know 30 is continuing education. It might have been 35, but for some reason, like 16 is sticking in my head. I cannot remember.
I know,
Like,
I think in Georgia, I believe, because I looked it up a couple of years ago, and it might have been about 75 hours.
for
75.
just for a real estate agent?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna look it up right
Woo,
now. I'm gonna look
they're
it
not playing.
up. How long does
I don't think it's that long in the state of Nevada.
a state license? I should have said how many hours.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, here's a Georgia real estate course, 30 hours online for 208. Okay. So maybe it's 30. Maybe it's 30 hours.
Yeah, it's somewhere around there. It's somewhere around there. It could have been in the 20s, but I know it wasn't. I don't think it was over 40 for sure. It was
Wow.
not that many. So
Okay.
it really does not take that long to get your real estate license. If you truly study and if you're consistent and if you really read the material and you want to get it done, you can get it done.
Pretty
It's
quickly.
not
Okay.
that bad. Yeah, at least here in the state of Nevada, I can vouch for the state of Nevada.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we took the test. We got the license. I'm assuming right out the gate you sold $1 million house and you were set for life. Is that how it works?
Oh, I wish. I wish. It might
Don't
be
work
able to
like
go,
that.
it might be able to go down like that again if you work hard and you do what you're
Okay.
supposed to do. But
Okay.
it did not go that way for me.
All right. So what happened? First sale. Let's go to first sale. First house sale.
So, license side,
Mhm.
no sales. Um, I passed my exam and everything got done in 2018. Um, I held on to it and I had a year to hang my license at a brokerage.
Right. That
So
basically means hang your license means find a brokerage like Keller Williams or
exactly.
Better Homes or somebody to be up
Yes.
under.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay.
So I passed my exam and I'm like, whew, I got that done. Um, I always wanted to invest though.
Okay.
So I always wanted to be on the other side. I wanted to know everything. I wanted to know, and what I call it is I call it the like a traditional side. I call it when you're like a realtor, I call that the traditional thing, and then
Okay.
investing is the other side. So I wanted to know all of it. So
Okay.
I passed my exam in 2018, the end of 2018. I think it was like August, September-ish.
Okay.
And actually, no, it was October. It was before my birthday. And I didn't hang my license until the following year with EXP
EXP.
in,
Is that
yep, in August of 2019.
is that
So
somebody
during,
local there where you are or
yeah, so with EXP, because you know they're online, they're virtual.
okay.
We do have an office here though. It's in Summerlin. It's just it's basically it's not really even like a huge office because everything is virtual. So it's just a place for the
Just a place where you can
broker.
go learn network
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
Okay.
If you needed to go see your broker in person, or
Okay.
if you did have a client and you did want to take them in to go over paperwork or something like that. But see, EXP, they offer other like incentives where they have like contracts and stuff with like certain hotels or casinos where you can get a room there and take your client if need be.
Okay.
So
So
yeah.
so I don't want to skip too far, but so basically there's some benefits with basically hanging your license, which is a real estate term, guys. Hanging your license with a brokerage like that.
Yeah, because you 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 can sell houses one way, you can list houses and you can be in real estate on that side being a real estate agent, a realtor. And then also you have your investing side where you can wholesale and make your money that way too, or you can go and flip a house, you can get a multifamily unit and do rental.
Okay.
So you can get the money from both ways, your license and your investing.
And
You
you're
see what
investing.
I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
And and again, not to get too far ahead, but if you're a real estate agent, you actually can quote unquote double dip, like get paid multiple ways from those investment properties. So you can get paid as the agent, right? And then you can get paid as the investor too, right?
You can, but you gotta be careful because when you're on the board, when you're a realtor,
Mm-hmm.
um, which I'm not on the board, I'm not a realtor, I'm licensed and I'm a real estate agent. I'm not on the MLS. I'm not on the
Okay, wait a minute. All
MLS.
right, so you're losing me now. See this is the stuff I don't know
I'll
right here.
educate you, ask the questions, and I'll tell you.
There we go. Okay, so you're a real estate agent, but you're not a realtor. Is that how it works?
Yeah, so you become a realtor when you pay your MLS dues and you
Oh, the
get
dues, right?
on, yeah, you get on the board, basically is what it is. So
Okay,
I am not a realtor because you were getting into like, oh, so you can make money as the agent
right.
and you can do, whatever. It gets a little sketchy, it gets a little mixed up because some states, like they call it like bird dog fees and things like that.
Right.
When you're a realtor, they just hold you up to a higher standard and you're supposed to have the the best intent for your seller or your buyer, whatever the case may be. And sometimes
Okay.
things can just get a little messy if you're like investing and you're like, throwing them a real low offer when you know that technically the property is worth more. So it
Right.
can just get a little messy. So um, that's why I haven't taken it onto that level yet because I don't want to, you can get in trouble. You know what
You
I'm
can get
saying?
in trouble.
So
Right. You can lose your license.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
So I am licensed and technically if someone does want me to be like their buyer's agent or if someone does want to list with me, I can do it that way legally. But mainly I'm like on the investing side,
On the
if that's
investing
what you
side.
want to call it. Yeah. So I
Okay.
do have my license, but I do more on the investing side than using my license.
Which, in my perspective, and this is just an opinion, guys, but which, in my perspective, you can make more money anyway. Okay. You can make a lot of money as a realtor. Don't get me wrong. I watch
You
the
can.
real, what's it called? Realtor
Million
show.
dollar
Listen,
listings.
oh my God, that's my show. I watch
I
it, right?
know.
So I
Yeah.
get it. These guys are making 100 to 200, 300,000 per one sale. So
Yes,
I
it's
get that. You
real.
can make a lot of money, but those are not typical results. That's not something you're going to walk out the gate and just make that kind of money in. So
Exactly.
most people are selling 100 to 200, maybe even $300,000 homes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
commissions on those are 3% per side, which we'll get to that later, right?
Yeah.
All right, so okay, we went to the store, we got the license. It's a difference between a realtor and being a licensed realtor
A
with a brokerage.
licensee. Yeah, you can call it that. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right. So how long did you do that? How long did you do the like showing houses, putting people in your car, spending gas money? How long did that last?
It was for a short period of time. Like I said, I still do dabble in it, and actually, I plan on revamping, relaunching, and actually going like full force into it. I'm actually going to pay my MLS dues,
Okay,
and
so you're
I'm
gonna
gonna,
actually
yeah, and I'm gonna do the realtor thing, and I'm
okay,
still gonna balance my investing too.
okay,
So I plan on going full force, but it really I really didn't mess with it at all. It was just like a little bit here and there. But the thing
okay,
is that I lived out of state for a while now because my husband owns his
mm-hmm.
own trucking company, and we had our contract in the oil field clear up in North Dakota. So
Okay,
I stayed in Las Vegas for a little bit, and then
right,
I ended up moving up there with him with the
right,
kids. So I was up there for a little bit, and I was still going hard on my wholesaling and my investing, because see, you can do that. It's
right, right.
virtual, you don't have to be boots on ground as when
That's
like
what yeah, that's what I
you're a
want to get into.
realtor. So, I still did that with my business.
Okay,
And yeah, we just got back here probably like beginning of April, and then I sat down and I thought about everything, and I said, you know what, if I'm not going to go full force with my license, then I'm just going to get rid of it, because you still have to pay things
because
every
you still
month, and
got
it's
dues to
just
pay. Right, right.
exactly,
Okay,
exactly.
so we're realtor now. Where did the term wholesaling come into play for you? Like, where that term come from? How'd you even know? Like, what is a wholesale? Because it's actually a pretty simple. What's the word? It's a pretty simple process,
Hmm.
but people don't understand when you say the word wholesaling, it takes them into thinking about real estate, which can confuse people.
Yeah.
But people wholesale stuff every single day, and they
And I
don't
was
even know
just getting ready to
stuff.
say that. I was just getting ready to say that wholesaling does not just go to real estate. It is in numerous things you can wholesale. So,
Right, exactly.
yeah,
You can wholesale this watch I got on. I mean,
right.
everything can be wholesale. So,
Yep.
so what took you into that wholesaling or finding out what wholesaling is? And while you're answering, I'm paying attention. I'm just responding to some comments that's over here on the YouTube side.
Yeah.
So, but no, I mean, keep in mind everybody else is listening too. So,
Yep. Yep.
all two watchers, thank you.
Yeah. Much love.
This is where it starts, though, right?
Yep. Um, so wholesaling. So we first moved to Las Vegas. I moved over here in 2015, and I think I was on Facebook, and I just seen like, one of those ads for like those free like 3-day
They got you.
webinars
They got you.
or like events in person. So I'm like, oh, what is this? I really want to kickstart this real estate stuff, and I need
Okay.
to educate myself. So what's this? So I click on it, and it's from Fortune Builders. Is that the name, dude?
Oh yes, yes. The
Yes.
fortune builders is that we buy ugly houses in that fortune builders. Is that
I
them?
I think it's
I think
what's
we
the
buy
guy's
ugly houses
name?
is fortune. I think that's them. I'm not sure though, but
I cannot remember. I do know though that the owner of Fortune Builders actually had a flipping show on what was it? It's not HGTV. It's the other one. Is it AMC?
Like Flipper Flop?
Yeah, he had a show something similar to that.
Okay.
So I'm like doing all my research and I'm looking and I'm clicking. I'm like, man, you know what? I just moved to Las Vegas. I'm taking advantage of this because they were having a 3-day event at
Okay.
one of the casinos in Las Vegas. And I was like, I'm doing this. So I go and I attended all 3 days, and that's how all of the wholesaling.
All right, so wait a minute, wait. So you went to this event, right? It was a local event, live?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
you went to this event. Did they hit you with, okay, at the end of the event, for $1,900, we can get you started? And did they hit you with
Yeah.
that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, they did.
Crazy.
On the third day, bright and early. Yes, they did. And I was not expecting that because I had no idea. You know, I
You
was
didn't know
just
that that
like,
was coming? They didn't make it.
no,
What?
no, because they were doing like a whole course. They're just like going with the flow and they're just getting deeper and deeper into finding like private money and
Right.
showing their deals and what they did. And I'm like taking down all this information and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go do this. And then at the end, they're like, so we do the coaching and blah blah blah. And I
There
was
it is.
like,
There it is.
yeah, I'm good. I don't need this. And I took all my information that I learned in those 3 days and I
Okay.
just started
And started
on
right.
my
Started
own
learning some stuff on
journey.
your own.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I'm a big advocate, Brianna, of YouTube University. Like that's my learning ground. I learned just about everything I know about real estate off of YouTube, and then just being in it and contacting people.
Yeah.
And I notice a lot of times people don't succeed at certain stuff because they just don't pick up the phone and reach out and even ask questions. I mean, I did a whole video on how I was making bogus offers to everybody. You know, just I would see a house come up on the market for 400,000. I'll call them and be like, I'll offer you 250 cash tomorrow. And
Yeah.
then, but I knew I couldn't afford 250 cash to pay for these houses. But it started the conversation and understanding of me saying, you know, how are they going to respond to this? How are they going to reply to this? What's then I started learning the terminologies and all of that stuff. So a
Yeah.
lot of it for me was picking up the phone, you know, making an offer and then understanding what to do next after that.
Yeah.
So in other words, I'm saying you didn't have to pay for that Fortune Builders course
Nope.
for how much was it? Do you remember how much it was? Something crazy.
I want to say it was well over probably 5,000. I think they said like $8,000 or $9,000. No lie, no lie.
And so I'm
And
assuming you take
then
monthly
they wanted
installments.
to do 50-50 on whatever deals you would get under their wing. So it was crazy.
So they want you to pay an upfront fee plus 50/50 on any deal?
Yes, yes,
And who,
yes.
okay, I don't want to get too far because I was going to say, who funds the deal while you're in the deal? What happens if something comes up and a leak happens while you're in, who funds that? But that's getting too far. But I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
That's
it
crazy.
was crazy.
That's crazy. Okay, so Fortune Builders, um, but you got all of the information they had to give.
Yeah, the foundation, the basics. Yeah.
Good, very good.
And then you're exactly right with YouTube. I turned to YouTube.
See,
And I researched exactly. I researched everything wholesaling you could think of, anything real estate you could think of. I just needed to know and understand because I didn't want to look dumb. I guess if
Right.
that's the word. Like, you're going into like, oh, you think you might have found like a good property. This
Right.
might be it. And I just, yeah, I needed to
You
know. I needed to know something. I
just
needed
want
to
to know,
have
okay,
some type of.
which is good. So from there, again, you went back to YouTube. You started seeing other people do things and whatever. Your let's go towards your first deal. You know, getting up to actually making an offer, or even finding your first deal. So what happened in that process in finding that first deal?
So I
Oh,
know.
wait. Before you go there, what is wholesaling? Let's talk. Let's answer that so then they'll understand what the deal is about. So, what is wholesaling exactly?
So wholesaling is basically finding a property and locking it under contract for a really, really good price and assigning it to someone who's actually going to buy it, like another investor, a cash buyer, and you assign an assignment fee because you found the property, you negotiated with the seller, whatever the case may be, and got it for that price. So you put your assignment fee on there and you sell it off to the cash buyer, the investor, take it to closing, and you get paid.
So for a higher price, of course.
Yeah, yes, for a higher price, yes.
Right. Okay. So all right. So what do you mean by put it under contract? Like, what is that? What does that terminology mean? Put it on,
So you're
do I just get a
so
sheet of live paper and write on there? I'll give you 100,000 for your house. Like, what does that mean? Like,
so you're gonna put it under contract as if you're going to buy it,
okay, okay,
but when it comes to wholesaling though, you do have to word things properly in the contract
okay,
so that when it comes to closing day, you can actually assign it to another person.
okay.
So
Which
you
in
you
Georgia? Go ahead, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Well, I was saying Georgia at the closing, we call that a double closing. Is it the same thing there? Do a
So
double closing?
it does depend on the state because some states too you have like back in my home state Pennsylvania they call it like it's an attorney closing, like I guess they use attorneys.
Right.
So it's different in every state, but in Nevada, in Las Vegas,
Yeah.
when I closed, depending on the escrow company that you use, some will consider it a double closing, but some will rig it up to where you could do the paperwork and they will only just do one closing, not necessarily double. So
There
you
you go.
have to find the
Closing
right,
attorney.
yeah, the right closing company because a lot of them deal with wholesaling
Right.
and then some of them don't. So it's kind of like wishy-washy. You got to do your research, you got to call around and you got to talk.
Right. And find
But
out.
it
And there you
is.
go. I like what you just said. You got to call around and talk and get information. That's the
Yeah.
thing, is calling around and find out who does what. Because I'll tell you this, the term wholesaling in Georgia is kind of a taboo term to real estate agents. They don't
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I talked to an agent one time, tell them what I was actually, you got to look at this deal. It's on my YouTube channel, but it was a $400,000 house that I got under contract for like 350 and wholesaled it for like 475, I think it was at the time. Yeah. Oh, this was a big deal. This was a huge deal.
Wow.
But when I went to the first agent and I called this guy and I said, listen, I'm wholesaling this house, he nearly wanted to hang up the phone on me.
Yes.
He didn't want
It's
to
the
have
same.
this.
It's the same in other states, and it's the same here. They act that way here.
So why is it that real estate agents don't like the wholesaling method? Is it because it bumps them out? Like, why is that?
You know what? It probably is that too, but I think you know what? That probably is the number one reason because it's gonna take their money away if you really think about it. A real estate agent isn't needed for the
Okay.
transaction.
In a wholesale transaction.
Yeah.
All right, so say that one more time. Say that a little bit clearly now. That's a good point
Yes.
right there. I like that. Say that one more time.
A real estate agent is not necessarily needed for a sale in real estate.
Oh, that is crazy. Wait a minute. You don't have to have a real estate agent to do a real estate transaction.
No,
Wow.
no,
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm saying it like I don't know, but
no, I get your emphasis.
right,
Yes, you're exactly right.
exactly. And don't get me wrong, don't I love real estate agents. I mean, I've got one agent that's my go-to agent, all of
Yeah,
them. But and their job is very, very valuable because they can do a lot of things for you. So don't take
yes,
that as me saying don't go with real estate agents. I'm just
yes,
saying there's a certain part of real estate, like Brianna said, that you don't need agents in. You just
yeah,
don't need them. And you can
yeah.
make a lot of money very quickly doing that. So let's go to that. Let's go to that. So I got this house under contract. How do I find that? How do I find that contract? Like, where do I get this house from?
Did you drive around the neighborhood and look
Oh,
for it?
that's
Because
one.
that's
Okay.
like the number one thing that I do. But then
Okay.
you got a handy dandy tool also called Prop Stream that you can use.
Let me type that in. Let me type that prop stream
Stream.
um real estate. There we go. ESP finder. There we go. I just typed. Okay. All right. So prop stream. Okay. Go ahead.
Or you can go and find houses that have tax liens, and I think you can do that through what is that, the county?
The local county tax office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, the assessor's office,
Right.
or I think that's what it's called. Yeah. So
Right.
you can go and find properties like that because sometimes if you can finagle the deal correctly, you can
Mm-hmm.
get the lien paid off, of course, and then still make money off your assignment fee, and the investor can still make their money on flipping the property. So
Wow. Very good.
you want to
Okay.
look at those kind of properties.
Okay. So one method was you mentioned earlier driving. We in
Driving
Georgia we call that driving for dollars.
for dollars. Yeah,
Is that
yep,
what the term is in
yep,
Nevada too? Okay. So
yep.
driving for dollars. You got prop stream. You got the local tax assessor's office. So all of these venues will pretty much possibly present properties,
Yes,
right? Okay.
yep,
Okay. All right. So you find the property. You've got an owner, and let me just interject a little bit by saying sometimes these wholesale deals are it's what we call estate sales, right? And an
mm-hmm,
estate sale is where, let's say, brother passes away. Unfortunately, sister gets the property, but she don't really want the property because sister
yep,
lives in Nevada and
yep,
brother lives in Georgia, right?
yep,
So she's got this property. She doesn't really care about getting top dollar for it because brother
yep,
wasn't giving it up no way, right?
yep,
So she just wants to get rid of this property, and she finds Brianna. Okay.
yep.
What happens then? Brianna, you put it under contract with that person to say you're going to buy it from them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens?
So I built my database of cash buyers.
What's a cash
So
buyer? What does that mean, cash buyer?
cash buyer is basically like an investor, but you want to know what though? Not necessarily an investor, because sometimes you just got people who have
They
money
got
and
money.
tax rules and things like that, they got to spend it somewhere, so they invest it into a property. So sometimes it's not necessarily an investor,
Okay.
but lots of networking and lots of connecting so that I can find people who I know want to buy properties and want to flip houses.
And that's
So
before you even get the deal. You're basically vetting for people like that all, day after day, week after week before you even get a deal.
yes, while you're working, for me, searching for properties and networking and connecting with buyers it goes hand in hand. It's an everyday thing that you have to work with together because you want to continuously build that database. You want to have unlimited go-tos for cash buyers, investors, so that
Okay.
you have a higher chance of assigning it off and getting rid of the property that you
Okay.
put under contract.
There you go. Okay. And so again, guys, we're in the real estate world. We're talking to Brianna McCourt today. And some of this can be a little bit intimidating. I get that. Now I'm talking to the YouTube people, whoever might watch this, but can be a little bit intimidating because it's a journey to find out who these cash buyers are, like she's talking about. And typically people who are not in real estate just don't understand that there are people with millions of dollars out there that are looking to invest into something. Okay.
Yep.
So, it doesn't mean that you got to know or have millionaires' phone numbers in your phone all the time. Okay.
Yeah.
But you might know somebody like Brianna or me, and you call us up and say, listen, Hudson, my friend is, get ready to lose a property. I want to do this wholesale thing. And she said that she would put it under contract with me. That's a very real scenario, right?
Yep.
And so you could call somebody like me or Brianna, and we'll know what to do with those deals. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So So let's skip forward. You got the property under contract, and then you've done your vetting for cash buyers. So do you just call one of them up and say, I got a deal? Like, do they want to see the house? Like, what's the process there with dealing with, like, again, you got your contract. What's the process with dealing with the cash buyer, the person that's going to buy it from you?
So what I do is I basically put together like a detail sheet of the property. And you want to, by then you should have already walked the property and tried to see what repairs and stuff need done so you can get the best after repair value on the property, because these are the things that the buyers want to know, they want to see, because they want to make sure that it's a good deal for them. So before they even waste their time and call you up and you guys are talking, they're like, yeah, we're going to drive over and see it. So I'll get a detail sheet written up on the property. And I basically have a whole email list of all of my buyers, and I email it out. And then certain ones that, I kind of talk to more frequently, I'll send them the email, but then I'll call them up and I'll say, hey, go through your email real quick. I just sent you something. Let me know if you're interested. If not, do you have another person you work with, a partner that they might be interested in it? So basically blasting my email list.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's the list of people that, again, you've been talking to and all of that stuff, building up those networking contacts. And these people, they're investors or whoever, they might have money to put into this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How much time do you have to do all this? Like, this sounds like a long process. I mean, how much time do you have to do all of that to find these people?
You know what? In the beginning, it was rough because I literally had no idea. But I'm gonna tell you, literally, Facebook saved me.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if every state has this, but I joined the Nevada Wholesale Real Estate Group on Facebook. And I basically wrote a status on there and I said, I wholesale houses, blah, blah, blah. If there's any cash buyers in this group, if there's anyone looking for properties that they want to invest in, please comment below and put your email, your name, and your phone number. And when I tell you,
yes.
I woke up the next day and I was not even expecting it. I literally had like 100 comments, meaning like I had 100+ people dropping all their information like, yeah, here's mine. And I do Boulder City too, and I do the outskirts. And I'm like, oh, great. Right. So then once I found that was the plug for Las Vegas, I went and I started researching for other states because I was interested in Texas. I was interested in Florida. So Facebook really was a saver, and I really did get a majority of my contacts, and I started networking off of Facebook.
And so I'm assuming that came from groups in Facebook. Is that right?
Yes. Okay. Wholesale groups. Yep.
Wholesale groups. Okay, there we go. So basically, guys, we go into Facebook and we look up, wholesaling in Las Vegas, wholesaling in California, wholesaling wherever. And there's these groups there of people that don't do anything but this, right?
Yep.
And you drop a property out there, and that's like dropping a fish in water for sharks.
Yes, that's what it was.
Everybody's right, trying to buy. It. Okay. All right. So you got the property under contract, you found your end buyer or your cash buyer or whatever have you. What happens then? Like, how do you get everybody together?
So for me, my first deal that I ever broke through, it was virtually.
Really?
So yes,
so you didn't have to go to closing and all that stuff.
Nope, I did a lot of talking on the phone and a lot of DocuSign.
Right.
But it was in Florida. It was at Fort Walton Beach, Florida.
Wow.
So yes.
The property was there?
Yes.
What? Yep. So you bought a property virtually?
Yes. So I have family down there, so I had boots on ground.
Got it.
But yes, the first time it was in Florida. So, it might seem like it's harder to do, but literally I feel like deals that I actually had to go in person, it just was more like stressful for me. Like, and I know that's weird. I don't know. It was more stressful for me when I closed deals in Las Vegas and I was actually physically here. But once I got everyone together, of course, you want to submit all your paperwork to whatever title escrow company you're going to be using to close the transaction. So and that's another thing too. I found the majority of my closing and escrow companies off of Facebook as well too, because I went into the wholesale group and I said, hey, look,
Okay.
I know there's already wholesalers on here. Send me in the right direction to your closing people that deal with wholesaling. And then they referred me over. So that was how I found the majority of my escrow companies too.
And you'll be surprised, and this is not just in real estate, but you'll be surprised at how many people just generally want to sincerely help you out. You know, they're not asking for money, they're not asking for any handouts or whatever. They just give you this information randomly because they know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a great thing. So Facebook, you guys, y'all got to keep your Facebook contacts together. That's a great platform for meeting people and networking and all of these different type groups. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to know how you did it virtually though. So that's pretty cool to actually be able to find a property in another state, buy it, but not really buy it.
Yeah.
And then put it under contract and sell it off to somebody else who's interested in quote unquote flipping it. And then they make money and you make money as well. That's a great thing. So again, we talked about how you found that person. How did the deal go down in terms of the actual sale? You said it was DocuSign, mostly DocuSign?
For the virtual?
Yeah.
Yes, it was. I had to sign everything through DocuSign, but I found the property through PropStream.
Okay, good.
Yep. And I also have an account on Connected Investors, and I found the buyer through there.
Okay.
But basically, I use not only do I drive for dollars, and you can go to the tax office or you can use PropStream. I send out letters too. Like I'll do like kind of almost like mailers, but I have my own thing that I made up like on my Word document, and I'll actually sign like I'll actually send the contract and everything with it. So that's how I got this property, my first deal virtually in Florida. I was looking on PropStream under vacant.
Okay.
I found a vacant property, and I sent a letter to the owner. I found their current address off of the taxes from that property.
Wow.
They have that information there. And then with PropStream, they also have skip tracing embedded into the program as well. So to be honest, no, I don't like talking on the phone, but I know that's part of the game. You're in real estate, you have to talk on the phone, you have to do it. So I called, I didn't get an answer, but I did send a letter in the mail, and then they ended up calling me. And we did go a little bit above what I was asking, so it did cut into my assignment fee, but I'm not gonna be a greedy hog. I'm gonna get it where I can. So we still work the deal out. And I, again, went back onto my wholesale group on Facebook and said, hey, I just got a deal in Fort Walton Beach. Can someone point me to an escrow company that deals with wholesaling?
So that's very key.
You gotta be.
Yeah, some of the companies don't like to deal with wholesalers.
They don't, and they won't.
Right. They won't. Some of them won't. Right.
Yes. Yep. So I got a referral. I think it was like 3 or 4. I got quite a few. I did call all of them just to see, because again, I didn't want to do like that double closing. I wanted to try and make it to where we could
one
just
transaction.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So I worked with one, I think her name was Shelly. I can't even remember the name of the closing company, but her name was Shelly. She was real sweet. Okay. She worked it out for us, and she dealt with it before. But
so she pretty much kind of walked that whole deal through for you.
Yeah, she kind of like reworked the paperwork and the contracts and made sure. Yes, I told her, I was like, bless your heart, you are gold.
Right, that's a golden person right now.
Yes.
That person's in your speed dial.
Yes.
Right,
yes,
right.
for sure, for that area. And we basically got all the paperwork worked out, and she sent it to me DocuSign. And I stayed in contact with the seller consistently because I knew that it could seem kind of sketchy because I'm clear in North Dakota
Right,
off
right,
this
right.
phone call. I found their property the whole way in Florida. So you see it can get a little like the seller is like, wait, what's going on here? Is this real?
Right, right.
But it was real.
And you're not this big business. You don't have 50 employees on the phone back there.
Yeah.
You have all of this. This is a single individual who's saying, I'm going to buy your property for X amount of dollars.
Yep.
Go.
Yep.
That's beautiful. Okay. So y'all get to the closing with the DocuSigns and all of that stuff. Do you
Yep.
mind sharing like the numbers in terms of, I guess, what you bought that property for and then what you sold it for?
So I got the property under contract. I wanted it under contract for 97.5, but the owner,
$97,000. Okay.
yeah, so the owner bumped me up to, I think it was 100 even.
Okay.
And yeah, and I wholesaled it over to the investor Brian for 108.5.
Okay. Not bad. Not
So
bad.
yeah, so there was still I still had playroom on there, and that's why I just let it slide because it was my first deal, and I was like so like desperate. I didn't want to like lose it, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm right here.
And then you're making 6 or 7 grand off of it after fees and things like that, or whatever it
Yes,
is. So
yes,
that's not bad for
yep.
what is that? About 30 days worth of work, 30 to 40. What was your contract time for the
So
seller?
I told her that I would close in less than 30 days, and it did end up happening in less than 30 days
Right.
because I think down there, I think it's a really hot market, and I don't think they really get like I don't think they have a lot of wholesalers down there. So when they do come across a deal, they're like on it. So the dude, he was really good. He was really good. I found him on Connected Investors,
Mhm.
and he moved fairly quickly. So, and he was all cash. He
He was
was all
all cash.
cash. So
Because he knew what he could rehab that property for and then turn around and sell it. I mean, that
yes,
property could have sold for 188 or something. We don't know, right? But
yes,
the point is, within 30 days, Brianna was able to get a property under contract, find somebody else to buy that contract, not the act. Well, they did buy the house, but what they did was they bought her contract from her
yep,
and then pay her the spread of what she had it under contract for and what they paid for it. And she walks away with a check at the end of the day, right?
yep.
Beautiful.
That's
That's
exactly right.
wholesaling. That is
Yep,
wholesaling. That's awesome.
yep.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, guys, this conversation is going to go on for years, guys, because I have a new friend right here. So we're going to be talking about a whole lot of real estate. I don't want to drag this out. This is, for all intents and purposes, it's been about an hour almost. And so what we're doing is just bringing you real estate, lingo, real estate talk. Okay. So that's the
Yep.
purpose of my channel. Brianna's got a channel too. Can you share your information about your channel as well? Your YouTube channel? Also
So,
your
so
Instagram.
Yep. So I have an Instagram, Miss Brianna McCourt, and I do post a lot of my listings and things like that. I actually join venture with a lot of people too because that's another way to get deals. But I post a lot of my listings on there, and then I do have a YouTube channel, Brianna McCourt Real Estate. And I do post on there, similar to what we're doing right here. I'm talking about what is wholesaling, how I found my escrow, my title closing company, just little things that basically are like the foundation and the basics to wholesaling. And I do dabble a little bit into personal because I believe my last video that I posted was just basically like a day in my life of me having my kids and trying to run my business as well.
There you go.
So I just try to put like really what it is on there, just real life. So yeah,
Exactly.
just
Exactly.
real life.
All right, there you go. Ain't no camera crew back there and editing and
No,
all that kind of stuff. It's just
no, I got screaming kids, dogs running around, dirty house, got people on the phone, all of it.
there you go. Okay, it's just real deal. All right,
Yep.
guys. So again, it's been 59 minutes. I think 1 hour is enough time to
Yes.
share this data and this information with you guys. Thank you all four of you. Look, we started with nothing, right? It was zero at first, so we got
Yeah.
four. So as the conversation builds up, definitely make sure maybe at some point we'll come up with a schedule to let you guys know when we're going to be talking real estate, and we'll just build from there. So, Brianna, thank you so much. It was an
Thank
absolute
you.
pleasure meeting and speaking with you. This is our first time actually talking, like
Yep.
literally chatting through Instagram.
Instagram.
And
Hmm.
so I'm getting ready to, when we get off air, I'm gonna get her to teach me some other stuff about Instagram because I need to know.
Yep.
Hey, E, I need to know how to swipe up. E Vapors is great for swiping up. That's his thing, swiping up. So Brianna, I'm gonna have to get you to teach me how to swipe up. Um,
I
but
got
meanwhile,
you.
guys, I'm Hudson on base with Chess Homes Unlimited. Thank you so much for tuning in, and it was absolutely great talking to Brianna, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we're out. 60 minutes on the dot. Let me see. How do I stop sharing now? How do I go unlive? I'll figure that out. All right, let's see.